Most weirdest historical events. Cigarette companies use doctors to push smoking. What cigarette do doctors says causes less throat irritation? In the 1930s and 40s, tobacco companies would happily tell you it was theirs. Doctors hadn't yet discovered a clear link between smoking and lung cancer, and a majority of them actually smoked cigarettes. So in cigarette ads, tobacco companies used doctors' authority to make their claims about their cigarettes seem more legitimate. Deadliest war in one country, 36 million people were killed. The Anlushan Rebellion was a rebellion against the Tang dynasty of China between 755 AD and 763 AD. Although it is difficult to accurately report the death toll, census reports taken the years following the war imply that around 36 million people were killed, or about 2/3 of population of the empire. Besides, 7 of 10 deadliest wars in the history were in China. Imagine China's population if these wars would not have happened. Kettle for tea in British tank. The vessel boiling electric, or BV, was an innovation at the very end of World War II, when the Centurion tank was introduced with the device fitted inside the turret. Previously, British tank crews had disembarked when they wanted to make tea, using a petrol cooker improvised from empty fuel cans called a Benghazi burner. Use of the BV enabled the crew to stay safely inside the tank and reduce the time taken for breaks. Saddam Hussein had Detroit's key. In 1980, Saddam Hussein was awarded a key to the city of Detroit after he donated almost $500,000 to a church in the city. 1487 AD, Aztecs sacrificed more than 80,000 humans. Some post-conquest sources report that at the reconsecration of Great Pyramid of Tenochtitlan in 1487, the Aztecs sacrificed about 80,400 prisoners over the course of 4 days. This number is considered by Ross Hussey, author of Aztec Warfare, to be an exaggeration. Hussey states between 10,000 and 80,400 persons were sacrificed in the ceremony. The higher estimate would average 15 sacrifices per minute during the 4-day consecration. 4 tables were arranged at the top so that the victims could be jettisoned down the sides of the temple. Only 240 of the past 3,000 years have been peaceful. The U.S. flag was designed as a project by high school student Robert Heft, and Heft could only get a B on this assignment. For an American history project during his junior year of high school in 1958, Bob Heft created a 50-star flag. The only problem was that at the time, there were only 48 states. Bob had a hunch that 2 more states would be added, and in 1959, Alaska and Hawaii became our 49th and 50th states. Bob created the 50-star flag by cutting up a 48-star flag his parents had received as a wedding present. Bob's teacher was unimpressed and gave him a B, asking if he even knew how many states we had, and telling him, "If you don't like the grade, get it accepted in Washington, then come back and see me." 2 years later, his perseverance paid off when he received a call from President Dwight D. Eisenhower, who invited him to Washington, D.C. for a ceremony adopting his 50-star flag. Bob's teacher also went back and changed his grade to an A. Bob later became a high school teacher, college professor, and served as mayor of Napoleon, Ohio, before he died in December 2009 at the age of 68. A pope once declared a war on cats. You might not be a cat person, but you surely can't hate them as much as Pope Gregory IX. Between 1233 and 1234, Gregory, who, as leader of the Catholic Church, had a lot of power, decreed that cats were agents of Satan and should be destroyed. This led to a mass killing of the poor moggies, which in turn probably led to an outbreak in plague. Now there weren't as many cats around to kill rats. Job as a poo collector. Being a kid today can be tough, but spare a thought for Victorian children. One of the jobs open to poor Victorian kids was helping the night soil man. What's night soil? It's poo. Before they had proper plumbing, poo would pile up in a cesspit under your privy until the night soil man arrived with his cart to take it away. It was called night soil, partly because the task was done at night, to be more discreet, and partly because the Victorians didn't like saying poo. Women make monkeys into instruments of prostitution. During the sailing period of the sail and oar era, trained monkeys were used to look out for pirates by climbing to the top of the masts. There were tradesmen's shops in front of the shipyard gate in Istanbul, where they tamed and sold ship monkeys. End of 16th century, one day, Abdülkarim Efendi, one of the preachers who earned the respect of the Ottoman Sultan Murad III, said, "Women make monkeys into instruments of prostitution," and gathered thousands of people around him, raided these shops, and had the poor animals executed. There were even special execution tables for large monkeys. Abdülkarim Efendi was traveling around Istanbul on his horse and pulling the ropes of the poor animals with his own hands.